All good stuff. Now we're getting into it. Okay. Yeah. It's been a moment. We're back. Let's do this. I just want to tell a quick story. A quick little story. Oh, a happy little story for a moment about my university years, my sheep brain dissections, all good times. I usually tell this story every year um, when I'm teaching the relevant class, but I just wanted to get it out on the internet because it's fun. So, sheep brain dissections are huge fun. The sheep brains are fascinating. They're incredibly close to human brains, which is kind of mind blowing and bizarre as I zoom into the brain of this guy here. Sheep brains are incredibly close to human brains in terms of most things, except perhaps size. They are much smaller, and obviously sheep themselves are less intelligent, or sheep themselves are less intelligent than humans, as far as we can tell. But there's some humans. Never mind. We're not going to go there. Anyway, so when I was doing my first set of sheep brain dissection labs, I was really enjoying them. You cut the brain up in a whole bunch of different ways. It's fascinating how consistent these structures are. You can compare them across different slices and different brains, and nuts. All of these different parts that you end up learning, they just end up being incredibly consistent. But I remember at the end of the lab, the lab technicians came around, and they started collecting up all of the sheep brains. It's like, okay, we've been cutting these things up for months, literally. At this point, they're just starting to get a little old, but they're still juicy. What are we going to do with them now? And it turns out that you just toss them all into a massive bucket, and then they get sent off to be medical waste, essentially, or at least scientific waste. And I remember seeing this massive bucket filled with brains. This was a huge class, at least 200 people. So each person had a brain. So I don't think there were 200 brains in there because it was lab sections, yada yada. But it must have been 40 sheep brains combined, in different dissection places, all mashed together in this thing. And I remember being chatting with the lab guys and being okay, can I just reach my hands in this thing and bush around this brain stuff? And they were like, yeah, I guess, weird human. And I did it, and it was so worth it. It was this crazy feeling, and I remember doing it. And at the time, you never have this experience to be this is, on the one hand, this is horrifying gore. If you were a sheep and you became sentient, this is the most nightmarish thing ever. But having spent months actually poring over this thing and learning about it, for me, it was just fascinating, sort of thinking of all of these overlapping pieces of brain, thinking of this combination of being and nothingness, and being sort of wrist deep within it.